oral skills can only be improved if they are practiced regularly over a period of time. Here is some general advice on how you can work on some of the main tests and develop your listening skills. Clapping back rhythms is frequently set as a test. When practicing this, work on short examples first, gradually increasing the length. If you clap with 2 or 3 fingers on the palm of the hand, this will allow you to clap fast rhythms more easily. In the test to identify time, your specific requirement may be to clap the pulse of a passage, conduct time, or simply state the time. Practice this by listening to music, noting carefully where the strong beat falls, as this will usually indicate the first beat in a bar. Beat the pulse or conduct at the same time, and then check with the score to see if you were correct. When conducting in 2 time, beat like this. 1, 2. In 3 time, like this. 1, 2, 3. And in 4 time, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The pitch tests fall into several categories. If you never sing, you may find it of value to consider joining a choir, where you will have the opportunity to develop your oral skills over a period of time and have the pleasure of singing. If you have to sing a melody back, as with clapping back rhythms, work on short examples first, gradually increasing the length. Remember that this is a piano exam and not a singing exam, and the quality of your voice is not being tested. Most examination boards will allow you to sing to la or any vowel sound, or even whistle. So practice the way with which you feel most comfortable. As preparation for singing an upper or lower part, practice singing an upper part first. Use examples initially in which the top part is emphasized, and with a large gap between the 2 parts. As you become more experienced, use examples in which the parts are closer together and with less emphasis on the top part. Then move on to lower parts, practicing them in the same way. The interval test may come in the form of recognizing or singing intervals, or singing a melody from score. Practice singing each of the intervals in a major scale using the same starting note, by singing up the scale to the chosen note. For example, here is how to practice singing a perfect fifth. Play C, sing C, D, E, F, G, play to check if you were correct. Sing C to G, play C to G to check if you were correct. When you feel confident, practice intervals without singing the notes in between. You can then go on to practice singing notes up the minor and chromatic scale from C in the same way. And when you have got used to singing up the scale, practice intervals going down and choose other notes from which to start. Students often find it helpful to learn to recognize intervals by thinking of the notes as the start of a tune they know. For example, here is a perfect fourth. Away in a manger, and a major sixth. My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. Make a list of tunes you know for other intervals and examine various intervals found in your pieces. Recognizing and singing a note of a triad is often required. This may involve major, minor, diminished and augmented triads. You can practice these by singing the notes of each of the triads from C. This will help you become more familiar with the intervals contained within the triads. Here is a complete chart. Take each triad you need to know and practice them this way. Here is an F major second inversion triad as an example. This consists of the notes C, F and A. Play C and now sing from C to the upper note of the triad, A. Play to check if you are correct. Play C. Sing from C to the middle note of the triad, F. Play C to F. Now sing the complete triad. Play C, F and A to see if you were correct. This method will not only help you to recognize triads in all their positions, but also help you to sing any of their notes. Singing intervals and notes of a triad can be practiced anywhere, including humming while waiting for a bus, so use every moment well. In chord sequences and cadences, always listen to the bass notes. Your work on intervals will help you to recognize these. Also bear in mind the following when recognizing cadences. A perfect cadence moves from chord 5 to 1. It will therefore sound finished. Here is the key chord of G major followed by the cadence. A plagal cadence moves from 4 to 1. And so also sounds finished, but here the key note is present in each of the chords. This is used when singing Amen. The imperfect cadence moves from any chord to chord 5 and sounds unfinished. The interrupted cadence moves from 5 to 6, and so starts like a perfect cadence, but there is an element of surprise when it does not go to chord 1. If it is in a major key, then chord 6 will be minor, whereas in a minor key, both 5 and 6 will be major. Look at your pieces and play through the cadences. You will already be familiar with the sound of these cadences, and so make sure you can also name them. In the modulation test, your work on triads will help you establish whether the example begins in a major or minor mode. Bear in mind also that as a broad generalization, major pieces sound more cheerful and happy, whereas minor keys are often used for sadder pieces. Listen to the change of mood in this modulation from D major to its relative minor. Here is the same passage modulating to the dominant A major. This will always involve a sharp being added or a flat taken away. So here you may detect a sharpening effect. This time the passage modulates from the tonic to the subdominant G major. This always involves a flat being added or a sharp taken away. So here you may detect a flattening effect. As a further aid to the modulation test, by keeping the original tonic in mind throughout the example, you can compare it with the final tonic, and this interval will help give you the modulation. If you have to recognise features in a piece as part of your oral tests, make a list of the features you are expected to recognise, such as dynamics, articulation, and tempo changes. Listen carefully to music of all kinds, not just for piano, with these in mind. A detailed exploration of the pieces you are studying will also help in this test. In the exam itself, be clear about exactly which tests you have to do for your grade and examination board. And if you are not sure about the answer to a test, consider the possibilities and give an answer rather than say nothing. If you cannot remember the end of a rhythm that you have to clap back, or a melody that you have to sing back, at least make an attempt to finish it, and there is a good chance that at least some of it will be right. Whatever tests are incorporated in your examination, make intelligent listening a regular part of your preparation for your exam, and you can combine the enjoyment of this with effective exam preparation.